introduce our guest speaker. We got David Porter here, a returning speaker. If you remember last time he talked, we had an IT glitch where a food truck took out his internet and we had to restart the call. So far enough from lunch, hopefully that doesn't happen, but want to thank David for his time. He's a 21-year agent out of Alabama, a team of 10. He's $8.5 million in premium. He's one of the top life agents in the country. He's made PC 6 times, championship 6, 12 toppers. He's been Alabama Agent of the Year 6 times, multiple time MDRT qualifier and a commercial elite agent. And he's also an author, and he writes 2 different genres. He does stuff on insurance and investments, as you can see. Juror Number One's his most popular book. I think half you probably have that at least. And he's got a new one that I have not read yet, but will, The Investment Tree, as well as he does some fiction novels. You can see down there, The 5 Minutes to Live in 60 Seconds of Silence, and I believe there's some more on Amazon as well. So, with that, I'm going to turn it over. David's going to share his screen. He's got some slides. Ask questions. He's going to talk on life, but he's going to talk a lot about his agency, how he operates. We were just chatting before you guys jumped in on, he's 21 years in the business, and he just made a complete pivot on how he markets, sells, and runs his agency, and is going to have his best month ever. So whether you're 2 months in or 45 years in, it's not too late to make a change or a pivot. So with that, David, I appreciate it. You guys chat your questions in. Livia, William will read them as we go. So thank you, David. I'll stop sharing so you can share your screen. See if this works.
And you guys will see that I am not the most techie person. So let me see if I can make this work. Let's see. Can y'all see my slide that says Wednesday workshop?
Yes, we can.
Fantastic. Okay. I've got 2 screens going on here so that I can have my slides in front of me, but I got all of the camera stuff over here on this other screen. Okay. So Robin reached out, it's been a couple months now, and said, they invited me back. The last time I was here, I was presenting and a food truck hit my building, ripped all the power lines off and interrupted everything, and had to get back on my phone and stuff. So I'm glad that I got invited back again. Thank you, Nick, for trusting me. Hopefully we won't have any technical glitches. But Robin got in touch with me and she said, would you be willing to come speak for us again? I said, absolutely. What do you want me to talk on? I'm known for life insurance. I've got a book on life insurance. And she said, well, yes, some life insurance, but talk to us about your agency systems for writing life insurance. And I do presentations a lot, but I've never done one on the systems, the tools that we use here in my office. And I thought, this is great. Yes. So I've been thinking about and building this. And even this morning, I came in a little early and I was practicing and I'm rearranging slides. So you guys are going to kind of be the guinea pig on this. I was going to give an introduction for myself, but since Nick did it, we'll blitz through this. I do want to say, Nick was talking about those workers that don't have enough for retirement. And that's really what the top 2 books here, Juror Number One and The Investment Tree, are about. It's helping clients overfund life insurance to help prepare them for retirement. And what The Investment Tree is a book to try and get people off the sideline. Nick said it in when he was talking. He said, so many of these people have their money in cash and they're making a little money, but it's not doing what it could be doing if it was invested somewhere else. And that's what the investment tree is trying to do. It's trying to convince people to get their money off of the sideline and in the market, whether that's a life policy or somewhere else. So if you're interested in books, I will have discount codes and stuff at the end. The other thing I want to say, I'm the life trainer for Insurance Sales Lab. And you guys may see this in one of my trainings now that I've got this thing built. So here we go. 4 best tools for life insurance. These are the 4 tools that I use in my office every day. The first one is purely life insurance. So I'm going to run through my 5-minute life lesson. And if you have the book, it starts on page 18 of juror number 1. I'm gonna run through this. Feel free to record me saying this. Feel free to take it and make it yours. And that's my first point here. Make this your own. I went somewhere, and I don't know where I was. He may be on this call, but I had a guy that recorded me, and he took and transcribed exactly verbatim what I said, and then recorded a YouTube video of him saying this as his own presentation, word for word, verbatim. And I guess I should introduce what my 5-minute life lesson is. This is what I use to sell life insurance. If somebody comes in my office, this is the thing that I tell them. I do a lot of life appointments virtually. This is the thing that I tell them, this 5-minute life lesson. This is my elevator pitch. Somebody asks me, what do I do? We end up talking the 5-minute life lesson. So make this your own. Feel free to record it, but put it in your own language. I mean, I'm from Alabama. You're from Minnesota. You're not going to say the same things the same way that I am. Make it your own. But take these points. They told me one time, you don't have, be a pirate. Be a pirate, not a pioneer. And I say that a lot, Nick. Thank you for introducing me to that saying. Be a pirate. Take what I'm going to give you, twist it, turn it, make it your own. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Use this, but make it your own. Once you figure out what you want to say, once you put it in your voice, practice, 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 practice. Practice so much that when somebody interrupts you, when you're giving your 5-minute life lesson, when you're giving your elevator pitch, when that person interrupts and asks a question, you can answer the question and go right back into your pitch. I don't know if you guys, if Nick remembers, but I was giving the 5-minute life lesson when the lady ran into my building, and I jumped back on my phone and picked up right where I left off. So you've got to practice it enough that when you're interrupted, you can answer the question, you can deal with the interruption, and then go right back into your pitch. Once you have it down, once you know it, inside, outside, frontwards, and backwards, then practice with your staff. Practice, 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 practice with your staff. What we do is we practice at lunchtime. Not every day. Once or twice a week, we'll get lunch. We all sit around a desk. I don't have a conference room. I'm not that big and fancy. We all sit around a desk. As we're eating lunch, I'll give my 5-minute life lesson. Everybody in the room gets to hear it. When I get finished, the person next to me, my CSR, my producer, my protege, whoever's next to me, gives the 5-minute life lesson. If they get stuck, I'm here to help them. If they have a question, I'm here to answer it. If they say something I don't like, I can fix it. When they get done, the next person goes. And it's a safe space. And then the next person goes, and then the next person goes. So everybody in the room hears the 5-minute life lesson multiple times. And we do it once or twice a week. What that does, it makes my staff very comfortable with life insurance. It has built a culture of life insurance in my office. I don't have to hammer my staff. Ask people about life insurance. We've got a bundle. Because they're comfortable with it, they automatically ask. So practice, practice, practice. This is tool number 1, is my 5-minute life lesson. So if you want to record it, pull out your phone. This is the one life insurance push that I'm going to give you in this call. The rest of the tools that I'm going to give you are techie kind of tools. So 5-minute life lesson sounds like this. Life insurance is generally rated on 3 things: age, health, and gender. Age, health, and gender. The older you are, the more expensive it is. The healthier you are at that age, the better rate you get. And all things being equal, men are more expensive than women because men do stupid things. Now, I say this most of the time, but I had a guy interrupt me one time and he said, men don't do stupid things. Yeah, men do some stupid things. We just do. So all things being equal, men are more expensive than women. Now, back to the 5-minute life. You know what? I'm going to stop sharing my screen just for a minute so y'all can kind of see me, because I talk with my hands. So if y'all will bear with me just for a second, look at my face, and my hands, because I'm going to talk with my hands. So 3 basic types of life insurance. The first type of life insurance is called term life insurance. Term life insurance is just like renting an apartment. When you rent an apartment, you sign a lease for a year, for 3 years, for 5 years. You pay your money every month. You got a place to live. It's cheaper than buying a house. If something breaks, if the roof leaks, and if the sink leaks, you don't have to pay to fix it. You just call somebody, they come in and do it for free. But there's some downsides. The money you pay in to that apartment every month, as soon as it leaves your hand, it's gone. You're not buying that apartment. It's not building you any cash value. And at the end of your lease, you either have to move out or you sign a new lease. And if you sign a new lease, it's going to be more expensive. Cost of living, inflation, new management, fill in the blank. But renting an apartment is our cheapest housing option. Term life insurance works the same way. So we sign a lease for 10 years, for 20 years, for 30 years. We call it a term. We sign a term for 10, 20, 30 years. We pay our money every month. We have life insurance. It's our cheapest life insurance option. But there's some downsides. The money you pay into that life policy every month, as soon as it leaves your hands, it's gone. It's not building you any kind of cash value. And at the end of your term, at the end of that lease, the insurance either goes away or we sign a new lease. And if we sign a new lease, it's going to be more expensive because you're 10, 20, 30 years older. But term life insurance is our cheapest life insurance option. Option number 1, term life insurance. Option number 2 is called whole life. Whole life insurance is just like buying a house. When you buy a house, you sign a contract, you pay your money every month. That house belongs to you. Nobody can take it away from you. It builds cash value. You can borrow against it. It's listed as an asset. However, buying a house is more expensive than renting an apartment. And there's some costs to home ownership that drive that price up. If the roof leaks, if the sink leaks, now you have to pay to fix it. There's also the cost of lawn maintenance and homeowners insurance and all those other things that make home ownership significantly more expensive than renting an apartment. But there's some benefits to home ownership. Builds cash value. You can borrow against it. It's listed as an asset. Just more expensive. Whole life insurance works the exact same way. So we sign a contract. We pay our money every month. You have life insurance. Nobody can take it away from you. It will pay a death benefit. It builds cash value. You can borrow against it. It's listed as an asset. However, whole life insurance is more expensive than renting the term life insurance. And there's some additional costs, some management fees and things that drive that price up. But it's yours. It will pay a death benefit and it'll last your whole life. It's just more expensive. Now, at this point, I start making up numbers. And I tell the client, I'm making up numbers. These are not your numbers. These are made up numbers. But let's say we take $150,000 worth of term life insurance. Put it right here. Maybe it's $25 a month. 25 term temporary. For that same amount of whole life, might cost $200 a month. 200 permanent has some benefits, but it's substantially more expensive than the term life insurance. Now, most of the time, my clients are going, man, I like the price of the term, but man, I like the benefits of the whole life. And they don't know what to do. Well, the insurance companies realized they had a great big gap between these two products. And so they came out with a third product. It's called Universal Life. Here's how Universal Life works. It's truly the best of both worlds. You get all the benefits of the whole life with pricing closer to the term. Here's how it works. The life insurance company picks a premium that falls somewhere between the two extremes. So in this example, let's call it $100. So you pay $100. The first 25 buys a month's worth of term life insurance. The remaining $75 gets invested for your benefit. The next month, you pay $100, 25 buys term, 75 gets invested for your benefit. Now, as you get older, this term life insurance gets more expensive. So maybe in 20 years, this term insurance now costs $50 a month. Well, you pay $100, 50 buys term, 50 gets invested for your benefit. Maybe 20 years after that, the term insurance costs $125 a month. Well, you pay $100, it all gets applied to that month's worth of term life insurance, but we're $25 short. But it's okay because for the last 40, 50 years, we've been saving and investing this big pot of money, and the life insurance company takes the remaining $25 needed out of this cash value and applies it to that month's worth of term life insurance. So we overpay when we're young, so we can underpay when we're old. It's a permanent policy to last your whole life. It has all the benefits of the whole life. It's just built on these term principles. So right here, I pause. I say, do you have any questions? I ask which one of those products sounds the best to you. And typically people say, well, either the term product or the universal life product. And if they say the universal life product, here's the second part of the 5-minute life lesson. Second part of the 5-minute life lesson says there are 3 universal life policy types. They all work the same way. We're going to buy a month's worth of term. We're going to invest the rest. The only difference is how and where the money is invested. The first type of universal life, it's the oldest policy type, traditional universal life. The money's invested directly in interest rates. There's a cap on your growth, 2.5%, 2.25%. There's a floor. You'll never make less than 0.25%. So we've got a little room to grow. I usually look through it like that. The second type is called variable universal life for all of you registered reps. The money is invested directly in the stock market. You get to pick where it's invested. Now, the good news about this is there is no cap on this policy. So if the market goes up 5, 10, 15%, you capture all of it. However, there's no floor. So if the market crashes, you can lose a portion or all of your money. So traditional, variable. And our third type is called index universal life. The money is tied to an index like the S&P 500. There's a floor of 0%, meaning you'll never lose any of your invested money, no matter what the market does. There's a ceiling, a cap on your growth of 12.5%. So if the market goes up 5 or 10%, you capture all of it. If it goes up 15%, you get 12.5. And I don't know about you, but I'd be thrilled if all of my investments were making 12.5%. At this point, again, I pause, ask if they have any questions, and then ask which of those 3 sounds the best to them. Traditional, variable, or index universal life. And most people, when I tell them that there's a 0 floor, they'll never lose any of their invested money, and they can make all the way up to 12.5%, that's the one they want to look at. Not everybody, but most people, that's the one they want to look at. Okay, let me share my screen again. That's the 5-minute life lesson and scene. All right, let me share my screen again. We'll get back into this slideshow. Can you see my screen?
Yep, you're good.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, so that's the first tool. That's the tool, and I use these 4 tools every day. I go through that 5-minute life lesson with somebody every day. But the rest of these 3 tools help me be able to do the 5-minute life lesson every day. So These are some techie tools, and you can tell that I am not really a techie person. So what I would encourage everybody to do as I put this stuff on the screen, just take some screenshots, use your phone, whatever, take some screenshots, and after the call, maybe explore looking at these tools. Tool number 1, 5-minute life lesson. Tool number 2 is a Google Calendar. And I'm going to wrap all of this up in a pretty bow. So just bear with me here as I go through these remaining 3 tools. Google Calendar and Gmail. The Google Calendar is really important so my staff knows when I'm available, and so when my clients know when I'm available. And we'll get to that here in just a minute. It's free. That's what I love. If it's free, it's for me. I love it. I would encourage everybody, if you don't already have a Gmail account or a Ymail account, whichever one you want to use, get one. Your agent Bob at gmail.com, farmer's agent Bob at gmail.com. Just get it and have it so that you can incorporate these tools along the way. When you sign up for a Gmail account, you automatically get a calendar. Share that calendar with your staff. Give them the ability to see and add things to your calendar. So that's the second tool. Google Calendar comes free with a Gmail. Number 3, so we're using Teams right now. You guys all know how it works. You click a link and we can see each other virtually. This one's optional. Again, I use it every day. You can sign up for free. Won't cost you anything. There are some limitations, and let's see if I can say this without stumbling. 40-minute meeting limit. Boom. So if you get the free version, you can only have meetings for 40 minutes, and that may be plenty. I subscribe to the $15 a month subscription. It removes the time limit up to 30 hours. I've never had a 30-hour meeting, but if I need to go 45 minutes or an hour, it's not a problem. And then as an added bonus, I get some cloud storage with it. And what that does, when I have a meeting virtually with somebody, I can record it and it stores it in the cloud. So if I don't close a call, or a lot of times I do a 2-call close, I can go back and watch the video to see what I talked about, see what questions they had. I can remember, oh, that person has 3 kids and 2 dogs. And when we talk, I can bring that up. So sign up at zoom.com. Again, you can get it for free. Set up your account. You have to enter your name, your email, and stuff. The big thing to Zoom, especially if you're going to use it to sell life insurance, you need to be on camera. So either get you a little webcam, $20 at Best Buy, or most laptops have a camera and a microphone included. If they don't, you can use your phone. Now, if you're going to use your phone, don't do one of these where you're talking and people are looking at half of your face and all of that. Set your phone down so that it looks more professional. Okay. So zoom.com is tool number 3. And again, just snap some pictures of these things. The next tool is the greatest thing ever. It has become my favorite thing. And this all may be second-hand knowledge to you guys or whatever, but Calendly. Now, you can connect everything we've just talked about. And I'll tell you why here in just a minute. So sign up at calendly.com. You can sign up for free, but it won't do the things that I'm going to talk to you about. So there is an $8 version. That's what I have. That's all you need. $8 a month. So if you did everything that I told you today, we're looking at $23 a month. But you can do the free version of Zoom, but you need the $8 version. So when you go in to set up your account, you can now connect your Zoom account. You can connect that Google Calendar. You can connect your texting system and your email system, whether that's your cell phone or if your office has an email and texting system. And then you add your questions, and I'll give you my questions here in just a minute. Once you do that, once you submit these things and set up your account, Calendly will give you a link that you can share, and you're ready to share the link. When you share the link, this is what it looks like. This is mine. What pops up, it looks like a calendar, and now people can schedule appointments with me. So on this one, Thursday, July 31st, we could schedule 10 a.m. We'd click that 10 a.m. button. It would take us to this next screen, which is where the client or I fill in some information about the client. And I'll run you through the questions that I ask here in just a minute. Now, once we enter this information and hit submit, here's what happens. And it's why I love Calendly. It automatically, as soon as they hit submit, because I've linked my Zoom link, my email, and my texting services, it automatically sends the client a text and an email with the link to the Zoom. It tells them what time our meeting is and how long it'll last, approximately. It books it on my calendar so nobody else can book anytime. And then it also gives them a way to reschedule or cancel. So if something comes up and they can't make it, they can go right there to that text, to that email, reschedule or cancel. And then 48 hours before the event, it sends them an email and a text. 24 hours before the event, sends them that same email and text as reminders. 2 hours before the event, sends them an email and a text to remind them of the event. And in every email and in every text, it includes a link to cancel or reschedule. So now I don't have to chase these people down. Now I can send this link. They know when to show up. They have the link, the Zoom link, everything. All they got to do is show up. But if they don't show up, I can click them as a no-show, and it'll send a text and an email to them that says something like, it looks like you weren't able to make your appointment with David. Click here to reschedule. So it takes all of the chasing people down out of my day. All I have to do is concentrate on selling life insurance. So these are the questions that I ask on my Calendly right here, that you can't see all of them, but these are the questions. I want their name, address, their email, their phone number, their date of birth, so I know how old they are, so I can kind of do some quoting, some thinking before they ever show up. I ask their height and weight. Do they use nicotine? Are they married? Do they have any kids? And if so, how many kids do they have? Then I ask about assets. And I think the question just reads, do you have any assets? And a lot of the times they'll say, my house and cars, 401k, some stocks, or no, or they leave it blank. Then the last question is, share anything that'll help me prepare for our meeting. And in this spot, it's just an empty, a fill in the blank kind of a spot. This is where people can tell me why we're having this meeting. So my aunt died, and I'm watching what my cousins are going through, and I don't want my family to have to deal with that. Or my aunt died, and I just got a lot of money, and I don't know what to do with it. Or I'm changing jobs, and my life insurance is going away. Or I'm a doctor, and I know I probably need some coverage. Or fill in the blank, and that's what they do. So these are the questions. Just snap a picture of this, and you may want to change this. You may not want to put all of these things. So here's the practical uses to this Calendly system. So I'm going to leave here. My staff knows, because it's on my calendar, that I've got a Sam's Club pickup at 11 o'clock. So here in 20 minutes or so, the window for my Sam's Club pickup. I may run into somebody that I hadn't seen in a long time, or start up a conversation. At some point, that conversation will be, so what do you do? and we will talk life insurance for about that long. And if they're interested in talking more, I'm going to either text them my link so that they can set an appointment with me, or I can do a meeting where I have all of my tools. Or I'm going to pull that up. There's an app, but I'll pull that link up. I'll answer the questions and submit it for them while we're standing there so that they get the reminder texts and emails. So when I'm out, I'm able to share this link. People can book time with me. The biggest and best use of my link is my staff. So my staff is really comfortable talking about life insurance. But if they get into a conversation that may be over their head, somebody has a lot of money they want to invest in a life policy, they can just say, hey, you know what? David is the expert. Let me set an appointment. Let me ask you just a handful of questions. They set an appointment. Boom, we're off and running. They go through the 5-minute life lesson. The person's interested. Maybe my staff, the phone's ringing off the hook or whatever. They can set an appointment for me. I can have a call either virtually, over the phone, whatever. But it's all done. It's on my calendar. All I have to do is come in and check my calendar. And then the final place, I do a lot of joint cases with agents. So lots of agents have my link. They can set an appointment with me and their client. I'll meet with their client and the agent. We can talk. I can help them build their cases. So there's lots of practical uses. I live off of my free calendar, my $15 Zoom, my $8 Calendly. It has helped so much with planning my day and setting appointments. Okay, I think I have 2 more slides. So my 4 tools are the 5-minute life lesson, my free Google Calendar, or whichever calendar you use, Zoom, just because that's what I set up with, Teams and other WebEx probably all work, but Zoom was the one I used. And then Calendly has been a real game changer for me. Finally, I know Nick is a subscriber to Insurance Sales Lab. If you go to insurancesaleslab.com/David or use the QR code, you can get these books at discounted pricing. So I'm not trying to do a big long commercial, but if you want books, you can get them at a discount. And really, these books aren't written for you guys. They're written for your clients. So if you buy some books, be sure and give them to the clients and then follow up with them. It'll help you sell life insurance. It'll help you get your customers off the sideline. With that, I'm going to turn this thing over to Nick. I'll answer any questions.
Yeah. Natalie had a question. Do you comp your staff for life appointments, or how do you compensate them on life insurance?
Yep. So let me pull this around where I can see you guys. So I have a couple of different ways that I comp my staff. I don't comp them for appointments, but if I sell something, they get paid. So if a person is not life licensed, and I have 2 staff members that are not life licensed, if they set an appointment and I sell something, I give them, hang on, before I answer this, Nick, do we have staff on this call?
Yeah, I think there's some proteges and stuff on here, but go ahead.
Okay. So let me say this to any staff member, to any protege. I do things probably differently than your agent does. Your agent may not be in a place to do what I do. So don't go to them and say, well, David does this. It's not the same. But this is how I do it, since Natalie asked. If somebody is unlicensed, they set an appointment, it comes to me, and I write them. I give 50% of the commission to that person who gave me the appointment, 50%. If the person is life licensed and they bring it to me, they set an appointment, and I sell it, they get 75% of the commission. If they sell it, that person that's life licensed, if they sell it, I give them 100% of the commission. Now you may be thinking, well, why wouldn't they just do all of them? Well, I've been doing this for a long time, much longer than any of them have. And I'm probably going to sell a bigger policy than they do. So 75% of a great big policy may be more than 100% of a smaller policy. So again, somebody that's not life licensed, 50% of the commission. Somebody that is life licensed and I sell it, 75% of the commission. If they sell it, they get 100% of the commission.
Do you do any promotions or sales contests with your staff?
I have in the past. I'm not currently doing anything. The things that I have done, we have a pretty cheap direct flight to Vegas, and so I have done some promotions to send trips, done a weekend in Vegas, but I'll be honest, nobody has ever won any of the promotions because they bring it to me, and the promotions are always, if you do this, if you write it, you get it. I'm doing enough on my own and with agents outside of my office that it helps me if my staff writes it. And so that's why my promotions are always, you do it, you can win. I do it, it doesn't count for the promotion. So.
Got it. Look, we talk a little bit on kind of marketing and stuff. You said you kind of switched gears here the last few months after a slow start. What have you changed, or what are you doing, and kind of how are you approaching marketing?
Yeah, so I was telling Nick earlier, so I've been an agent, it'll be 22 years in October. And we've always kind of run this model where we've had referral partners, and we're in the community, we're that trusted advisor, and we have people that come into our office and sit, and we ran the social media ads, and we did the chamber and all the other stuff that I've done for almost 22 years. In 2020, something changed in the world. We went through this little thing called COVID, and people stopped wanting to come into my office for some reason. And it never changed. People don't come to my office much. I apologize. I got this thing dinging. I had it turned off. Pause for an hour. We've got live transfers happening in my office. That's what all of that was, which takes me to, we starting at the end of May, we changed models. I said, things aren't working like they used to. And just forgive me here. I'm from Alabama, Roll Tide. I watched Nick Saban for 17 years. And in 17 years, he had 3 or 4 different models. When he first got here, it was run the ball, ground and pound. Then he brought in Lane Kiffin, and it was a spread offense. And then he changed his defense. He moved from these big thumping linebackers to quick hybrid linebackers. And he had success for many, many years. And I thought, my business is going the wrong direction. I've got to make a change. And so at the end of May, beginning of June, we made a radical change. And everything that we do now is internet leads. So we started at the end of May. Last month, June, we did $200,000 in premium in our first month running internet leads. So we're still kind of ramping up, but that's the best month that I'd had probably since 2020, maybe 2021. It was a fantastic month. This month, it looks like I'm going to have the biggest folio I've ever had in almost 22 years. But it was just being willing to change how we do business. Now, we're only buying home leads. That's all we're doing. But we're cross-selling the auto, the specialty, the umbrella, and the life with it. So long story short, my marketing now has become internet leads. I'm not doing anything on social media. It's internet leads and then cross-selling. And we're also doing a little win-back stuff kind of in that same lead space. We're treating our win-backs as fresh leads. So Hope that answered your question.
Yeah. So, all right. Katie went to high school at Lane Kiffin. So
That's
we got
awesome.
back with them. So nice. Well, with that, we're pretty much at the end of our time. We do have this recorded, so I will get it out to you guys if you didn't catch screenshots of what you want. We'll have David's contact info, or if you're using Sales Lab, you'll see him a lot of those videos and that content. Appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. Thank you for making this work, David.
Thank you.
We are farmers. Bum, ba, dum, bum, 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 bum.